Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some D4. So I kind of wanted to go over kind of my thoughts and my ideas, or not really ideas. I don't have ideas for Diablo 4. I'm just happy to be playing it. So I want to start this off. We'll say trying to record this a couple of times. I don't want to come off as negative against D4. I'm really enjoying the game. I'm having a great time at it, but I have a couple of very key issues with the game that are very nitpicky, but the game is awesome. I'm loving it. I'm having a really good time. So as you can see, I have a couple of necromancers here. I have my barbarian. I have my druid. I have a sorcerer. I played sorcerer up to 25 in the beta. I just haven't made it that far because I've been having too much fun with the necro. And then the rogue, I haven't even. She hasn't even really moved off of her seat yet. So far I've spent probably close to $400 on the game. So I bought the game for myself. I bought for a friend. I bought some cosmetic stuff. I bought the collector's edition. Taxes and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I'm into the game. I want to see the game work. I'm happy that I'm happy with the game overall. Now, where I'm not happy with the game, and my very specific problems I have is the campaign. I'm not a fan of the campaign storyline. I initially saw people complaining about the campaign storyline. I was like, oh, it's not that bad. Like, I'm having fun with it. And then as I got really far into the campaign, it got worse and worse to the point that I really towards the end of the campaign, I didn't care about the story anymore. Uh, I just wanted the campaign over. It was literally I was just suffering through it to get to the end of the story so I could go to the next portion of the game. Um, and I just was like, it seemed to drag on and on. And every time you thought that you were going to be done, it was just, well, here's another hurdle to jump through. Here's another hurdle. Here's another hurdle. And then there's a couple of fights towards the end of the game where you end up fighting things that you've already fought, and the bosses, like, you'll fight them and they'll disappear and they won't drop any loot, and there's a whole freaking dungeon that you go through that is a bunch of fights, and just nothing drops. And to me, that is garbage. Like, I understand why it was done that way, but having you go through that much stuff that you can't avoid, really, to me, is not a good way to do. And it cheapened the entire process for me. So I wasn't a fan of the campaign. The storyline. I will say that the only way that you're going to get me to do the storyline again is basically helping somebody out to finish a quest or something. So eventually I'll end up probably picking this up for my mom so she can come play with us. And when she starts playing, I will probably help her through the campaign. Like if one of my nephews is playing or a family member was playing, I'd probably help them through the campaign. But I can't ever see me playing through the campaign again. Not that I ever really planned on playing a hardcore character to begin with, but I not again. I, I had just it's not fun. So that part of it is I don't know, and I don't think there's anything that can really be fixed with that. And I don't want to give too many specific examples, because if you haven't played through the campaign, like I wish you well, and I hope you enjoy it. But I did not enjoy it. But that being said, do I recommend the game? Oh, wholeheartedly. The game is amazing. If you like Diablo, if you like ARPGs, if you like to be able to play, like, the game is just a mess. And I don't mean a mess like a bad thing. It's freaking. I love this game. It's great. Um, The other issue that I have, if you notice as I'm running around, all these guys are level 57, which on the surface that seems like a really good thing, right? It seems like on the surface, if I'm playing through, I can go anywhere I want to on the map, anywhere on this area, and I'm running at the level 57 guys, which is great because that means no matter where I go, I can level, and every time I can level, I can ooh, a ring. Like if I'm getting levels for stuff, decompose. I'm not using that right now. I'll throw that in the bank maybe. We'll look at it later, more later. So if I can go through level 57 wherever I go, I'm always getting experience. I'm always leveling. Like that's great. The problem is if you go to respec your character and you lose a little bit of damage, you're hosed. You can't lose damage. If you lose any damage, you can't keep up anymore. So what that ends up doing is it forces you into situations where you're having to use the overly accepted skills that are like considered the best in slot, right? Like I had my Exploding Boy 9000 here. I've been doing I most of my right click here is Blood Surge, which just explodes around me. I had to add Corpse Explosion to be able to get enough damage kind of on a regular basis to kind of kill stuff. I had found a unique that allowed my Corpse Explosion to turn into a guy that charged people and blew up. But I may have milked that by accident. It was completely my fault. I did it. So because I wasn't paying attention and ended up in my bag, and I melted everything in my bag. So I lost that, so it makes it difficult for me to continue on that working the way I want it to work. But like I have the curse that I'm using, which you'll see that the blue thing that pops out every once in a while. That I have to have because I need it to be able to reduce my cooldown so I can do enough damage, and that way I can make sure my once all my pets get murdered, I need to have that up so that I can do Army of the Dead to bring them in. I'm still trying to do a complete pet build because I want to do a complete pet build. But the pets are it's a problem with this build. Sometimes I go to move and I can't move because there's too many corpses and they just start exploding. So that's just the way my character's built. That's on. But I want to do pet builds because I like pet builds. They give me the option to do a Thorns build, so I want to do a Thorns build. Is it working? No, it's not working at all. Am I hard-headed? Definitely I'm hard-headed. Is it going to work eventually? I don't know. Maybe one day. We'll find out. But that's part of for me, that's part of the fun with Diablo is trying to figure out, does this stuff work? Can I do what I want to do with it? Can I bend the game to my will? Or am I just stuck with whatever, cookie cutter builds that I can find on the internet? And I don't really want, I'm not one of those people that enjoys going to a forum and downloading somebody else's build and, just following it, letter for letter and then going, oh, this is great. Because the problem with a lot of those is they have very, very specific dependencies. And if you don't have the exact pieces of gear or in the slot with a level that you need, then they don't work. And a lot of those are made to, in my opinion, suck the fun out of the game and literally try to get you to just burn through things as fast as you can. And I'm having fun just destroying things. So I run around, I exploit Boy 9000, and we call it good. No, I have, like I said, I do have two necromancers, one at 57 and one at 51. And the reason I have two of them is because it is actually easier for me to have this guy build with exploded boys and use the equipment that I found to do that. And then basically, as I pick up stuff that works for thorns, I I hand that over to the other my other necro, and then build that one to those points. Um, so, because unfortunately, thorns, in order to really get those to work well, uh, you need a lot of equipment. It is equipment; they're very equipment dependent, and if you don't have the equipment, it doesn't work very well. Um, and a lot of builds in the game are that way. It's very very equipment dependent. Matter of fact, you can pick up a single piece of equipment and magically now you have a completely different build. So, and I'm kind of beating around the bush and everything. I do have some problems with the I guess in summary, the problems with I have with uh, the quest line or the storyline, those can be corrected as long as I don't ever have to do it again. And from my understanding, I don't believe you have to. There's some issues about what's going to carry over to the seasonal characters. I'm was trying to look for some of that information this morning, and I hadn't really narrowed it down yet. Kind of look for official word from Blizzard on it. But if I have to do the quest again, like I won't be able to play a season. Because at that having to redo the quest every 3 months, like it doesn't sound like a lot. You're like, oh, it's just every 3 months. Like you can handle that. Like, no, like, dude, I, I really hated the quest that much. Um, and then the leveling with the scaling. It sounds like a good idea, and having your buddy come in, it's not that big of a deal because even though like this stuff is 57. Like, well, I'm on World Tier 3 right now, so if Pete came in, I think his character is like 48. His stuff would be scaled to 40 or 53, because the lowest this stuff will scale to is 53 in this area. Um, and so it causes some, but like say if we went back to tier, or well, say Pete was 53, all the animals or the mobs would be 53. For me, they'd be 57. If I brought my other buddy in, that's like 70 something now. The mobs would be scaled to his level for him, and we can all kind of fight the stuff at our level and survive and contribute to the group and all feel like we're helping and doing something, which is great. But like I said, the real problem is if you want to change your spec, if if you find a new piece of gear and you're like, oh, this is the one piece of item I needed to try this other spec out, you can't try that spec out. You have to get every piece of gear you need for it, um, so that your damage stays where you're currently at. And that part of the scaling sucks. Um, it'd be nice to at least with Diablo 3 where we had like 14 torment levels, and you could just drop back to from torment 14 to torment 6 for a little while and farm a little bit there and kind of get your speed built back up. That made it a little bit easier, but here with us only having four world tiers, it makes it a little bit more difficult to do that. But like I said, I don't want it to sound like I'm unhappy with the game. Uh, like I said, I've spent close to $400 on the game, and I'm happy with my purchase. Like, and to the point that I'm probably going to be spending more money on it soon, to pick it up for my mom, and you know, things like that. So I'm perfectly fine with the game the way it is, and I'm very nitpicky on the things, because the game, other than those few problems, is very good. The Diablo team did very very well on building the game, putting it together, making it feel like a cohesive world. Um, it just, there's a few things that I'm not particularly happy with. And can I get past those? Yeah, I'm past them. I'm okay. Like it's just trying to learn the game and try to figure it out. Will those be fixed? Are they going to fix some of the stuff in the future? Possible. Like it's hard to say. Um, so until we give them a chance to fix some stuff, we don't know. The only other issue I'm worried about now is that uh, some of the things that are slowly changing in the game, uh, where some of the balancing patches and stuff like that they've released here recently seem like they're worried about like the top like 1% of the player base that's speeding through content or is ripping through stuff as fast as they can and trying to I don't want to say exploit the system but bend the system to their will as hard as they can with like resetting dungeons or uh, you know in search of very concentrated elite packs and stuff like that. Uh, when they start making changes for people that do stuff like that, it doesn't matter. They're going to keep doing it. There's nothing they're going to do unless they make the game completely unplayable for everybody. So worrying about what that top 1% of people do, that is always going to be a problem because as long as you have leaderboards, as long as you have a season and you have something for somebody to try to prove how good they are above somebody else, there are always going to be people looking for ways to exploit the system to be in the league. Um, and I understand you want to balance it to make it fair, but it's never going to be fair. Like us that are down here in the trenches that are just enjoying the game, that we don't care about the leaderboards. Like we just want to, we just want to have a fun time playing the game. Like don't run the game for us, because somebody up at the top wants it to be more difficult, or needs it to be more difficult because they got extremely lucky on drops at some point. Um, but other than that, like I'm having a lot of fun with the game. The Paragon system is it's a bit overwhelming. It takes a little bit to kind of figure out and get used to. Maybe go back to town here real quick so it's safer. We'll open that up. So we'll look through here. You actually end up with a lot of points for come on. Open. There you go. So you end up with a lot of points in here. So this is, just to kind of build. So I blood surge, and then I actually even removed points from here because this isn't even on my hotbar anymore. So I put my points into here. I've got corpse exploding. I've got, decrepify. I've got a bunch of stuff into blood, trying to regenerate my life and keep my minions up going. I probably shouldn't have gone to blood wave because it would probably be stronger for me. But I like minions, and then more minions. And then the Paragon tree, the way this works is when you first start out, you're going to start out right here at your starting node. When you kind of go through there, you're going to go through and you just find a path, right? So this guy here, I have my skeletal mages get extra damage. If I had 40 more intelligence, they would get 25% more increased resistance to all elements. So I just need to go through and put some more intelligence in here. There, intelligence over there. So I'd have to just spend or to get more points of intelligence, right? So I can get like 10 more points. Not really. Can you even? That's 5. That's 5. That'd be 30. Okay. I don't know how I'm supposed to, unless at some point this thing gets high. If I get it leveled enough, it takes this outside area too. But yeah, so you just kind of choose a path and go through, and then once you choose the board attachment and you actually pick this one up, and then you click on it again, then you get to choose this board up here. You can spin this around, and then as soon as I get to one of these other points, then I can kind of do what I need to do to be able to get where I need to go. So right now, like this guy here. I minion armor and maximum minion life, and then I'm going to start working up towards here, so my minions deal more damage. And over here we have skeletal mage damage, 10% minion damage, minion attack speed, right? So that was probably a good one for me to head towards. Infused warrior, right? More skeletal warrior damage. I have another glyph over here. So then where the glyphs here, I can go over here, and these are all the glyphs I've found so far. So I try to find a glyph in here, and then you do a nightmare dungeon, and you can level the glyph up, and then it slowly. Think of the glyphs kind of like your the legendary gems from Diablo 3, where you get them and you put them in your armor. Where these you put them in your Paragon boards, so they work more like gems of PoE. So I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out, and like I said, I'm not really following somebody else's path. I'm trying to beat my own path and make myself happy with it. So it's a fun game. Please take that away from that as you will. It has a few issues with it, but it is playable. I've had a couple of crashes. I had a issue on my laptop where it kept reverting back to my integrated graphics instead of my dedicated graphics and crashing the game, which was weird. That seems to be better now. But other than that, the game's been running. The servers haven't been bad. A couple of days where the servers got bad, but for the most part, the servers have been fine, have been up. Like the game's doing well, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So with that, if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, if you want to see other stuff from Diablo 3, or Diablo 4. I keep saying 3. I've been saying 3 for 11 years. But if you want to see other stuff from Diablo 4, let me know. Other ideas. I'm going to work out more on the Exploited Boy 9000 build here. Try to get some more points into that. And I need a couple more pieces of equipment. Specifically, there's an amulet that basically allows my blood surge to be cast by all my skeletons also, which I really want. And then the item that allows the corpse explosions to basically charge before they explode. Basically, they turn into a skeleton, it charges, and then explodes. It's great. So I get those two pieces. My Exploited Boy 9000 will be a lot better. And then we'll get y'all a mission on that. Or another video on that. But with that, y'all have fun, and we'll talk to y'all next time.